Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Oh, we're on. We're live. Good morning,
Hello,
everybody.
everybody.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, yeah. It's 10 o'clock. We're ready to go. It's so nice to see everybody this morning. For those that are guests today, my name's Vicki Wilkins. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations, and I help coordinate Life at TU with...
I'm Mimi Johnston, and I'm the lucky one who gets to work with her.
So thank you all so much for being here today. We hope you enjoyed last week's presentation on the Tiffin history of glass. I thought that was so unique, and what a cool connection this was for us on campus specifically, because we were talking with Nancy and Paul, and Nancy was saying how much she really wanted Paul to write a book, but he doesn't want to write. I don't want to write a book. And I said, well, what if I got you a faculty member to write a book? Faculty member came over by the end of the session, and they're going to work together this summer, and Paul's going to be able to write a book. Woo! So it's just really cool how Life at TU on campus, connecting with our faculty, it's really fun. So just making that connection was really cool last week, so I wanted to share it with the group. So as always, we like to thank our sponsors, because we would not be here without our sponsors. And our first sponsor, Andrew Calnell, National Machinery, I know you all probably have seen in the paper, celebrating 150 years. I think they've been doing some community stuff this week. So if you get an opportunity to go over and see National Machinery, make sure you thank Andrew for being a sponsor for Life at TU. I know he would appreciate that. We also would like to thank Seneca County Regional Chamber of Commerce, Destination Seneca County, and Klaus Construction. Our silver sponsors, Dr. Dornauer and Mercy Health Tiffin, and our friends at Life at TU, Allen Erie Center, AVI Food Systems, Brenda Collins, Edward Jones, Elaine Daughtry, Chris Lee, Hannah Luring, and Rachel Tate, the Rotary Club of Tiffin Foundation, and Lang, Gordon, Rannigan, and Klaus Law Firm. We also want to thank our crew in the back and facilities for setting up our room each week. We could not do it without you, because this morning we were in panic mode, but they made it happen this morning. So thank you to facilities. We also want to thank Mike Herdlick in the back, who got a ride on the President's golf cart this morning. Super fun to have the golf cart. Yes. Thank you, Mike. People were falling off. Please don't drop our... Oh, okay. Please make sure you fill out your evaluations each week. I know we say it every week, but we just really want to reiterate to fill out those evaluations, because they help guide our programming. And lastly, before I hand the program over to Mimi, I want to give a special shout out to Eugene Miller. It is his birthday today, and we just want to say happy birthday and thank you for spending your birthday with us. I can't sing, but if you guys want to sing, I know Mimi can sing.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eugene. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
He's so much fun at Life at TU.
Yes, it is. If only he weren't such a shrinking violet. Today's session, how nonprofit agencies support and benefit seniors. We have the directors of 4 nonprofit organizations here today to explain what their agencies do and specifically how they work to support area seniors. We are so excited. We're going to start this morning with United Way. I haven't seen Amber yet. Nikki, is Amber here or no? She is almost here. Okay, well, hey tech team. Shall we move on to Ariel? Would you mind going first? So that would be RSVP.
This is why you get paid the big bucks. You gotta adjust quickly.
Are you guys cool with that?
The RSVP
okay.
Side? Okay, great.
I mean the tech crew, but thank you for being gracious.
Thank you.
All right, so this is Ariel Nearhood. Sorry, I know that. Okay, and she is the program coordinator for Family and Community Services RSVP program, which is part of AmeriCorps Seniors. in Seneca, Huron, and Wyandotte counties. She's going to talk about the program and introduce us to her guests. Please help me welcome Ariel Nearhood to Life at TU.
Thank you, Mimi. And thank you, everyone. So it looks like I have 3 things to hold. I'm going to do my best. So how many of you, just as a simple poll, first off, I'm young. Can you hear me okay? I talk fast when I'm excited, and I get really excited about what we do. So feel free to tell me to slow down or speak up. So how many of you currently live in Seneca County? Like all of you. That's awesome. How many of you currently volunteer somewhere in Seneca County? Whether it's a nonprofit, school, church, etc. Awesome. So about 1/3 of you. Cool. Well, that makes my program a little bit easier since a lot of you already give back through action. And so like Mimi said, my name is Ariel Nearhood. I'm the RSVP Coordinator for Seneca County. I also cover Wyandotte County and Huron County, and I say that in case you know somebody over there. We do exactly the same thing we do here, and we duplicate it over there. And we also duplicate it across all 88 counties in Ohio and all across our nation because we are affiliate with the AmeriCorps Senior Program. Has anyone heard of AmeriCorps by chance? Couple of you. Okay, so we're the 55 and older gang of that. And basically, RSVP is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. We are one of the largest volunteer networks in the nation for people over 55. But I'm not really here to talk about the national news. We're more talking about local. Oh, it did work. Yay. Okay, so we're on mission here in Seneca County to basically keep our individuals over 55, which includes most of you in this room, just to stay healthy and mentally and physically with volunteer service. And by we connect you with nonprofits or schools or organizations that you would be just really proud of or really passionate about helping, and we get you involved with those opportunities. So we basically tap into what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, and then what you're already good at or something that you're willing to learn, and just kind of push you to those organizations that are already doing those opportunities. So what they actually do. So our volunteers come to me and they kind of tell me what they're interested in doing. And so you'll see on this slide basically a myriad of different opportunities that they take part in. Some of them help in a food pantry support, which includes places like St. Paul Sharing Kitchen, Fisher Tiffin Food Pantry, the Salvation Hot Meals, Tiffin City Schools. They do a summer backpack program, the YMCA summer backpack program, etc. They also do an in-school mentoring that we partner with Smile here locally that does a community-based mentoring in Tiffin City Schools with their Read to Succeed program. We do a Golden Companion team, which I'll leave Cindy here to talk about a little bit about what she does for that opportunity, telephone and in-home companionship, the non-food pantry distribution, providing hot meals, managed clothing bank, transportation, and so much more. The sky is truly the limit, and Pat here will talk about and explain how all the fun you can have when you match your passion with giving back to the community. So all of that to say, I'm going to let them talk because they actually do the thing. So Cindy, if you want to come up here, this is Cindy Wagner. She is one of our volunteers for our Golden Companion Project.
Thank you, Ariel. Is this on? Hello? Is it on? Can you hear me? Well, I just can't hear myself, I guess. I'm glad I'm going first, so I quit holding my breath. I'm Cindy Wagner. I got involved in RSVP in April in its inception. Was there in the meeting, signed up, because I had done lots of volunteer work at the nursing homes before with my minister husband. And we had singing things and worked in crafts and whatever. And I am finding that this is so rewarding, the Golden Companions. What does it look like to me? Well, it looks like an outlet. And it looks like to me that I can go out where people can't get out of the nursing homes. I can be in there and visit them. We laugh, we talk, I listen. They tell great stories. And the most rewarding aspect of it is actually twofold. I became a widow recently and was kind of cloistering myself at home when I heard about the Golden Companions. And so signing up and knowing this was right up my alley, I have enjoyed so much. Hopefully, I bring sunshine to them, and they certainly do to me. Sometimes you get grumpy ones, but that's okay. If I were in that position, I would probably be grumpy too. So I am so glad to be a part of this. I would describe the impact of my volunteer work on the community. Well, I don't know about the community, but if you call those in the nursing home community, I guess that would be an impact. Hopefully that they tell their friends and neighbors that visit them that there is a group called Golden Companions, RSVP, and they can get involved too. We could use more. Is there a story I wish to tell? Well, now that most of you are over my age and over, I love visiting this one lady. She is a hoot, and we laugh like we've been friends forever. And her story was this. She and her husband, Bill. So Bill and Esther Gay Hamilton were churchgoers, and on a particular Sunday, everybody was anxious to meet the new pastor. And so they lined up as he was greeting each group, and Bill stepped up and pumped to the new pastor's hand and said, "Oh, we are so glad you're here. We welcome you to our city and our community and our church, and if there's anything you need, we will be at your beck and call." And he moved on without introducing his wife. And she stepped up and said, "Hi, I'm Gay, welcome," and walked on. Anything else I would like to share? A word from C.S. Lewis. You are never too old to set another goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. So someone in our blue crew, what we call our blue tribe, came to me and was like, "Hey, I've been visiting some nursing homes, and especially out of the pandemic, we've noticed a lot of people are very lonely. They're very isolated. You all live in Seneca County. Some of us are very, very blessed. Where for me, we came from Germany to Tiffin, Ohio, and the Shuey family never left. And until my sweet Mr. Nearhood took me to Fremont. But a lot of people don't have that local connection still here in this town. And so when we walk in these nursing homes, we notice that people only get visitors around Christmas or around a holiday, maybe a phone call sprinkled in here or there. And so our volunteer came to us and said, "Hey, I want to do this, but I don't want to go by myself. Do you know anyone that can help me?" And so that's kind of where the Golden Companion Project kind of birthed from. And so we have about a tribe, about 12 to 15 ladies and gentlemen who meet in the certain nursing home lobby of that week. And then they go down the halls, either pair up or go individually. And we have time slots that the nursing homes allow us to be there. And they just knock on the people's doors and go, "Hey, would you like a visitor?" We've gotten so much good reception, both from the volunteers like Cindy, as well as the people that we're visiting. And so if you know of anyone that lives in those organizations that would love some visitors, please let us know. And then next up I have Michelle, who said she'd talk for 2 seconds about what she does. She does a lot more than that, and I'll let her share what she does for our organization.
So I met Ariel a few years back when I was serving as the principal at Old Fort Elementary, and she came into the school to talk about mentors and things. I retired shortly after that, and she told me before she left, she said, "When you retire, I'm going to get you." She said, "You're going to come work for me," and here I am. I have been doing this for a couple years now. The main thing I do with this group is provide transportation for those people who can't drive. I started out with a special needs gentleman who worked at Salvation Army. So I picked him up, dropped him off at work, came and picked him up, took him home. Did that a couple times a month. I added another one recently, Salvation Army again. She went once a month. She has since kind of blossomed out. If she needs to go to a doctor's appointment, she'll call and ask me to take her. If she needs to go to some conference, she called and told me she was at a conference in Columbus. Would I come and pick her up? And I'm like, Columbus? Oh, no, I'm going to be at the School of Opportunity. Can you pick me up there and bring me home? So Cindy has gotten to be a pretty good friend. We laugh and joke a lot. Chris invited me to his wedding after he got married, when he got married, rather. So we've gotten to be friends with it, and it's kind of nice because I worked for so long in education with young kids. I volunteer as a CASA. Again, I have young kids. So it's kind of nice to help people who are a little bit older, who need that extra help. They're very warm and giving people. It's really nice to spend time with them. So that's what I do. If they need a place to go, they call me, I go pick them up, we spend a little time together, and that's pretty much what I do. So
That was like 5 seconds, but you did very well. Thank you, Michelle. What's really cool is those individuals she mentioned are actually volunteering themselves at Salvation Army. So it's kind of like she's volunteering to get them to a volunteer opportunity. They do their service and then helps them return home, so they don't have to rely on any other transportation services. And then last but not least, we have Pat Holman. You do a lot, so I'm just going to let you talk about what you do. But we found Pat. We have a fun, unique relationship, and I'll let her share what she does for our program.
Well, I met Ariel through United Way, because I wanted to volunteer, because my daughter threatened me with weekly visits to a psychologist if I didn't get out. So I went to United Way, and Ariel got my name, and she put me in the reading mentoring program at Kraut, which I love. But she also knew that I like to sew. So one day she called me up, and she heard of this organization called My Very Own Blanket. And you make blankets for foster children in your local area. So I took this to my knitting group in Clyde, and we now provide blankets for Sandusky County foster children for Christmas. We did 52 last year. We currently have 75 ready to go this year for Christmas. Also, in relation to that, I found out about a foster home in Castelia. So I called Ariel one day and I said, I have a job for you. And she was a little surprised. But she can ask the questions that I can't. So she found out that this is a foster home just for boys. They have 25 boys who have serious medical issues and are considered unadoptable. So I volunteered to make them 25 twin-size quilts for Christmas. I love to sew. So this has given me a great deal of something to do that helps somebody else. It gives me a reason to get up, and I just love it. And I will keep working for Ariel whenever she needs me.
All right. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. So, yeah, Pat's been doing a great job. One thing that she didn't mention is we also do some special projects, if you will, at different senior centers or lower income housing here in Tiffin. And she actually had the opportunity to talk to some of our lower income seniors. We got about 5 or 6 sewing machines donated through State Farm here in Tiffin. And she taught them all how to sew and make their own handbag in like under 30 minutes. So, and if I can do it, guys, I promise there's hope for the rest of us. All right, so that's kind of what they do. They basically, align what they're interested in or who they want to help. Sometimes they don't know until they put their foot in the door to see. But we're all about kind of connecting the different resources here already in Seneca County with individuals who want to help out. So they kind of already said and touched on this, which is beautiful, but volunteering isn't just for the people we're serving. Obviously, that is our primary focus, but it's also good for our volunteers themselves. It helps you guys build positive social ties and have a variety of relationships linked to reducing stress and heart-related risks, which is huge. So basically it comes down to when you volunteer and help people, it helps you too. People you serve and people you serve with, these are the relationships that keep you going sometimes. Every year, this year's a little bit different because I'm having a baby, but typically we do an annual dinner and a recognition where our volunteers all get together. So the three of them don't work together, but they are all part of that same mission, and it kind of is a fun night to just celebrate all of you and what you, do for our community. So at the end of our service, we always interview our volunteers about what they kind of get out of this, and 78% of them in the last year said they felt less depressed. 84% of them said they reported feeling improved or stable health, which is huge, and 88% volunteers felt less lonely after serving. I know we all go through certain seasons and years and sometimes days on end where that's kind of the most epidemic that we're facing is that loneliness, and volunteering kind of allows you to kind of think beyond yourself. Some of the fun things that aren't health related is we offer all of our volunteers supplemental insurance at no cost to them. So whether they're driving like Michelle, serving in our schools like Pat, at a nursing home like Cindy, our insurance policy will cover you. It's also really fun because it's flexible. Some of you go to Florida and don't take us with you. How rude. So all that to say, when you're in Florida, you get off the hook, but when you come back, you can do an hour. So some of our volunteers really only help me 1 to 2 hours a year, and that's okay. Some of them really just want to get into the fair for free to eat funnel cake, so they sit by me at the fair booth. I'm okay with that. And then it's flexible. So like Pat, she does a myriad of different things. Like Michelle said, I'm really good at lassoing people in after they retire. And some of them have cute grandkids that they want to spend time with and stuff like that. So we're super flexible as far as the activity as well as your schedule. And then like I mentioned, the fun dinner and ongoing appreciation events. Those are secretly my favorite just because I love being their cheerleader and I hope it continues. So how to start? Basically, I don't know how handouts work here. I've unfortunately never attended this, but we have half sheets of paper that you can all pick up. Vicki and Mimi are nodding at me in the back. So make sure you grab those. Those have our website and our phone number, so you don't have to remember anything. But basically, you give me a call. I just do a quick interview of just what you would be interested in, what you're most passionate about, and kind of who you want to help. There's 2 ways you can enroll. We have a paper enrollment form, or you can head to our website, which is senecagiveback.org. It's really easy. You can type on the Seneca County tab and look at it and look at all the opportunities. We're also on Facebook because I'm a millennial, so you can look at cute pictures there. And then, you just meet with me, and then once you pass our background checks and stuff like that, we get you started pretty easily. And then that is my information. The cell phone number is not a local number. It is me. Just so you know, 859 is kind of intimidating to go, what? But that is me. And then just so you guys are all aware, the United Way graciously allows me to be their tenant, and so I'm right downtown Tiffin at 201 South Washington Street in the United Way office. But that's basically our program. We're so thankful for all of you just coming out today, and thanks for having me as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Ariel. So we have a few more minutes left for Ariel. If anybody has questions, if you will just raise your hand, speak up, and Ariel will repeat the question so that the recording can get it. Anybody have questions for Ariel about RSVP and volunteering? Oh, yep, over here.
You're good. I'm deaf. Do you want her to talk in it, or do you want me to echo? If you're over there, you can hear it. Oh, I can't hear. Do you want to talk in it? She's like, I didn't say that.
My question is, you talked about doing the in-home nursing home visits with the elderly, but do you do anything like with an elderly person that lives at home alone?
Yeah, we do. So we kind of do both, whether they're comfortable either having a telephone relationship, and that seems a little weird, but basically it's a reassurance program. We have some people, one of them's in the audience, I saw Ken, who would call some people for us, mostly during the pandemic, right, when we weren't allowed to go through doors. But yeah, if they have to give us obviously permission, We do some kind of home check with them to make sure that they want us to be there. And then I basically meet with usually the person, so the companion volunteer, it would be me, and then the client themselves kind of feel out what they're looking for. We don't offer anything like medical care, kind of like what we do for a child, right? We always tell our folks they're not their ATM, they're not their doctor, they're not their psychologist. You're truly there to be a friend. And so whether it's bringing them flowers, playing a board game with them, how this all started is we had a lady in Tiffin that actually lives down from National Machinery. She was 94 years old when I met her, and her daughter was like, hey, I live way out of state. Can you possibly have someone to go visit her? And once a month, she would drive, take her out to eat different things. When that became inaccessible, our volunteer would just go to her house and truly talk about everything that's going on in the world with either my generation or everything outside. And it was a really great opportunity. So we do offer that too. We're a little more strict on it because we do recognize it as somebody's house. And obviously we want them to want us there. So, yeah.
That's great. Any other questions? Okay, yes. When you leave, the table where you check in will have all kinds of things for you to take home, information from all 4 of these agencies. Thank you so much, Ariel.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate it. Okay, we are going to go back and start get United Way. Yes, fellas? All right. So we're going to hear next from Amber Wertman, who is the Chief Executive Officer of United Way of North Central Ohio. She is going to tell you about the organization's mission as well as the recent merger with the Tiffin-Seneca United Way and how that affects the local community. We're also going to hear from Nikki Distel, who is the Development Director for Tiffin-Seneca United Way. She will talk about the local campaign and how our local United Way supports our area seniors. So please give a warm Life at Tea welcome to Amber Wertman and Nikki Distel.
Yes, testing. Mimi is so wonderful and gracious, and I hear that you found out my toxic trait is I'm always late, and I'm really working on it. But I went to the wrong building, and I felt like a lost college student, but it all worked out. So thank you for changing it up a little, and it's really great to be here. This is a great-looking group. Wow, I love it. All excited to be here? All right, good. And thanks to Ariel, I'll owe RSVP 1 now since you covered for me. Great United Way partner, as are all the other speakers today, which is exciting. Okay, so with that, Nikki and I are going to take turns here and get through our PowerPoint and then take a few questions, hopefully, if we have time as well. So again, my name is Amber Wertman. I am CEO of United Way of North Central Ohio. Over the past year and a half, I have been in Tiffin a lot, which has been very enjoyable, and you're all very welcoming, and you have great places to eat, so I love that. But we are now one big family, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that's beneficial as well. So we'll start out here just a little bit about United Way in general. I know you've just heard about it here today, but how many of you have had an experience with United Way or are aware of it? Show of hands, yeah? Okay, good. Hey, Mary knows. Yeah, thanks, Mary. So at our United Way, and part of our mission is to bring private, public, and nonprofit partners together to tackle challenges, build strong, equitable communities so everyone can thrive. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. But we are very macro level. We're all about bringing the community together, and anything we can streamline and bring people together like you here today, that's what we want to do for our mission. The United Way does have a worldwide organization, and it serves 95% of communities in the United States and 35 countries and territories. So when we say we're worldwide, we really are. But the beauty of it is each one of our United Ways actually has our own local board. So we have our own board of directors, our own 501c3, which just means that we utilize the United Way for their logos and strategic planning framework and things like that. But for our United Way here in North Central Ohio, our board makes all those local decisions. So we have the benefit of being part of this larger organization and their resources, but our decisions are made here locally. And there are, we don't have a slide that talks about our board members, but we have at least 3 of them now that are from Tiffin on our governing board. And Nikki has an advisory council of about 7 people locally as well. And they all have a say in how we make decisions, especially about Seneca County funds. And that is great. So we appreciate all of them. So we'll move on to, I noticed when, I know this is a Seneca specific, but this is also the beauty of a merger. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Crossroads Candles or not, but they are a huge supporter of United Way, and the candles are awesome. And just a little plug, their fall sale is coming up in November. So that benefits United Way, which also benefits you. So go in and tell them thanks for supporting your United Way. So that's them, the family there, and Carmen, our development director in Crawford County. So anyway, with that, it truly is 100% local. Our biggest question we get is, if I donate, you're serving 5 counties, is it really going to go to Seneca County? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. Nikki's been with United Way for over 2 years now, and her main job was to always enter any donations right in our office. And now she's been bumped up to this director level, but we do have an operations director that enters every single donation from all 5 of our counties and enters it specifically to said county. So we have full control over that, and at any time, if you were to ask, where's my dollar going, we could print you a report for your county or your area and let you know where we're at and how much you're getting. The other beauty of that is that, like I mentioned, we have local boards. We take advantage of a lot of resources, but again, I just wanted to mention specific. I've been talking about a lot of counties, but here it notes we do have Crawford, Marion, Morrow, and Wyandotte, and now Tiffin, Seneca, United Way. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Nikki as your local development director and talk a little more of a deep dive about our mission as far as it speaks to what we fund and our goals. So Nikki.
Thank you, Amber. All right, so about our bold goals, this and that. Our bold goals identify and define what your dollars go towards, and also a little bit about, Amber's going to talk about this later, but what our agencies have to report back to us on. In these bold goals, it's what we impact. So we look for successful children, healthy families, and self-sufficient residents. And what those mean would be bold goal number 1, which is successful children. Projects and programs, I'm super nervous if anybody doesn't know that. So
she's doing great, isn't she? Let's give her a hand. You're good.
Okay.
You're all good.
Projects and programs bring together agencies, organizations who are fighting to improve early childhood literacy, provide mentorship opportunities, and increase rates of kindergarten readiness and high school graduation. Again, that was successful children. Healthy families is our bold goal number 2. Every person in our region deserves a safe, warm place to live, dependable access to nutritious food and other necessities, and healthcare services for mind and body. We leverage funding and resources for organizations working for safe and affordable housing, increased quality of life, and a vibrant neighborhoods for our community. Self-sufficient residents puts local families and individuals facing economic obstacles on the path to sustained financial well-being. United Way of North Central funds programs that are working to provide every person with the totals necessary for financial empowerment to self-sufficiency, starting with access to services, job training, and credit counseling and money management programs. All of the programs and collaborative incentives that we work with all of the programs, the agencies, the, what's the word I'm looking for, coalitions that we work with, all of the dollars that we bring in help fund all of the programs that are based in one of these 3 bold goals. Let's see here. I was going to click the microphone to click to the next slide. Okay, so talking about those programs, again, I know we're talking about Seneca County specific, but in all 5 of our counties, we fund 60+ community impact projects and programs. If you notice on the slide, you see some of these are bolded. There are 20 of them that are specific to Seneca County, and those are the bolded programs. The 3 additional that are presenting today, RSVP, NCAT, and also Allen Irie are 3 of our community impact partners. You'll see their names up there. There are several others, all local to Seneca County, that receives funding generously provided by those in the community, all in Seneca County residents. When they apply for funding, they apply specifically for Seneca County funding. Some of them, such as NCAT, apply for additional funding. They actually apply for Crawford funding. They receive funding from Crawford County and Seneca County funding. RSVP actually applies for funding in all 5 of our counties. As they said, they are nationwide. We aren't able to do our jobs and to provide funding for these resources that are greatly needed without your help. And then I'm actually going to hand it back over to Amber for the next slide.
Hey, thanks, Nikki. Good point about that. I do want to note, too, she's mentioning most of our partners, even the ones that are bolded here in Seneca County, a lot of people don't realize, well, first of all, I don't know if you knew this, but there are well over 400 nonprofits just in Seneca County alone, 501c3s. Per the Attorney General's office, I have my data from a direct source. But I think that we think about it like, oh, it's this one place and it's just here. And it is, because we do a great job being very grassroots local. But almost all of the partners that we fund on that list, I would say a good 75% of them serve multiple counties. And, some of them don't. Some of them are still very grassroots. But I think that's just kind of how times have changed. We have to collaborate a little more to make a bigger reach and thus helping more people. So I'm down a rabbit hole, but I like talking about that because I think people don't think, wow, like these places really have a huge impact. So we're so excited to have all our partners. They all do amazing things. I'm going to talk a little bit about, Nikki mentioned when we fund a place and they apply, we do ask them to get back to us twice a year with some data and how's it going. This is not meant to be a punishment. It's nothing we don't also do ourselves at our United Way. And the framework we choose to use is something called results-based accountability. It actually came from was born out of a Stanford study in 2011 about collective impact framework. And what they found in that study is that when we try to, it sounds like a buzzword, you say, oh, collective and all this stuff, but it really is some research around it. And the one thing that was missing was the data. We do a really good job setting things up and here's what we need and we can get together in meetings and talk about it, but what are we really measuring? So we didn't want to miss that, and a lot of our donors, that's important to them, that they want to know, hey, I love that I'm making an impact and I see the great stories, but I also want to see the needle move in our community. I want to see that things are being tackled and getting better. And so with this, we asked 3 questions over here, the color charts. How much did we do? How well did we do it? And is anyone better off? And we feel like if we can answer those 3 questions, both as United Way, but as individual organizations, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so, those are some basic questions to remember with RBA. It is a process. again, it's all about removing barriers to progress. We feel that it helps to leverage funding in the most effective way possible and help more people. Over here on the blue side, this shift means that we're getting to root causes. So what we'd like to see is we're always going to have our what I would call traditional partners. We have to keep them moving and working in the community. But another thing we want to layer on top of that is coalitions to affect these root causes. So in some of our other counties, the top 3 issues we always hear about, and we're in a rural region together. We're all different, we have our own character, but we're all also facing the same challenges, and that is housing, safe and affordable housing, childcare, so that people can get to work, and also, gosh, I just forgot it. Transportation. How could I forget? Where's Mary? Transportation. She's in all of our transportation meetings. But those are really the 3 things that we hear about, not only from our donors, but from our companies that we work with and the corporations that are donating to this effort, is they love all of our local partners and our people doing the work every day, but they want to get to some of those bigger root causes. And what that means is we have to meet as a community. We have to have focus groups, we have to talk about that, we have to bring all the resources to the table, and not just monetary resources, but volunteers, people who have lived experience in these issues. So I'm sure every one of us knows someone that has said, oh, I'm struggling with childcare, I don't know, these rental costs, we hear that a lot. So we're trying to get at some of those bigger issues, and we hope to move some of that coalition-based work here in Tiffin, Seneca County as well. So again, these are the kind of things, these are the questions we ask. We have a community impact director that meets one-on-one with each of our funded places and helps them to create their performance measures. And again, what the really cool thing is they find that this is actually helpful for them, and each of the partners get their own dashboard that you can find on our website, unitedwaynco.org. You can see anybody's dashboard except the Seneca ones, because we're just now adding them on. But you can get an idea of what it will look like for your community and see that in real time, the effect that they're making with the great work they're doing. And then they can use that to apply for grants to leverage even more dollars, hopefully, into your local county. So it all goes together. I know we're very macro level. It's like a lot, and hopefully that makes sense. So I think then we'll move on a little bit about when we talk about people with some of these root cause issues or that are experiencing life challenges, we call that ALICE. And so Nikki's going to talk a little bit about that.
So ALICE actually happens to fall into a lot of things that we do. So I know maybe some of you are familiar with our First Call for Help program that has always been like an umbrella underneath of United Way for several years here in Seneca County. That is slightly changing over the last year. We've been building it more into a coalition in the area. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second. I want to get back to ALICE. So ALICE is an acronym, and it stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. And what that essentially means is, and this is a worldwide term, is ALICE is that it's that limit where you do not make a whole lot of money. You are working, you are employed, but you make just enough to get by. But you make too much money to qualify for government assistance, where you really need that help with food stamps so you're not struggling every month to make ends meet, but you can't get it because the government says you make too much money. And then you have sometimes when you may struggle and you have that one day when you had a sick kid, so you had to stay home with them, so your paycheck's gonna be a little short. So when you get your paycheck in 2 weeks, you actually have to make the really tough decision. Am I going to pay this utility bill, or am I going to buy some groceries so we have food in the house? And that parent is gonna say, we're gonna pause on that utility bill because we can pay it when we get some money, and we are going to put food in our house. And then that's when they get behind because they don't end up getting enough money to put on that utility bill, and then they get a shut-off notice. and then they don't know what they're going to do because they don't have the money, because they still need to keep putting food in their house. And they, because of that one day when one parent had to stay home for a sick child, they just don't make enough money to make up for that. First call for help or other resources in the area. We have several of them in Seneca County that are absolutely phenomenal to assist with that ALICE population. Sorry, I can go on about this topic for hours. I see how I'm now a lot less nervous now.
She's passionate about this one, which I appreciate.
I am also passionate about the other one, just a lot less nervous on this one. We put a lot of work into this area and programs. Okay, so with that ALICE population and with all of the resources that are available, it takes that one call, that one connection, so that those individuals know where they need to go to get that one extra help that can push them in the right direction, get them out of that dip that they're in, and put them in the right place. And maybe they'll never need that help again. And it can be that one thing in their life that turns over absolutely everything. They get a new job, they're making a better income, they get out of that ALICE population, they get out of the house or apartment that was costing them way too much money, and they find a better place to live. Or they find, that one key resource that pushes them to be a better person, find a second job, and it gives them that realization, I never want to feel like this again, so they do what they need to do. With that ALICE population, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide here because it fits in. I don't know if everyone realizes this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of data here. In Seneca County, there are there's a big number here, but 8,268 families, this is over in the red space, living below the federal poverty level or barely getting by in ALICE households. It also gives you our other 5 counties as well. And then over in the blue, public benefits is income-based, and that income base, for anyone that, if you're not aware, I'm sure most of you are, is that 200% federal poverty. And it's based on how many adults are in the home and how many children are in the home. So it could be X amount of dollars per level. And if you don't meet that, if you're not at that 200% or lower, then you are classified as being in the ALICE household. So you can make 201% and be denied government assistance because they say you make too much money. And it's not a good thing. With First Call for Help, I stated that we're converting it into a coalition. Starting last year, we did a lot of work, actually in the beginning of the year, to transform it, to make it easier and better for Seneca County residents and everyone in the community. Because it's not a good feeling when you have to go to somebody and say, hey, I really need help with this, but the bill's too big for one organization to be able to help with, so we have to bring in another organization to help with that bill, whatever it may be. We worked really close with Salvation Army to join forces, and we are now working very close with Salvation Army. All of our resources for rent, utilities, everything are now being distributed through Salvation Army. So anyone that would have come to us for assistance now just needs to go directly to Salvation Army. They are doing the dispersal of all of our funding. In addition to that, that actually started in October of 2023, and it still continues. If they come to us, come to my office, I say, you just need to go over there and they'll handle everything. They have access to, they go in one place, tell one story, have access to 2 different fundings. In addition to that, in November of 2023, also a very long and amazing process, we brought 211 to Seneca County. And if nobody's ever tried it, please just try it one time. Ask a question. Pick up your phone, dial 211 in Seneca County. Let them know that you are in Seneca County, because they will ask, what county do you reside in? Tell them what you're looking for. Ask them for a food bank. Ask them for rental assistance. Ask them for medical assistance. You're looking for medical equipment, anything, okay? And they will give you 1 to 3 resources depending on how many they have in their system. This is a resource that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. These are both services that were part of First Call for Help that we put in a place that can assist them in a better capacity. And I know that's a weird way to say it, in a better capacity, because we were helping to them to the best of our ability. But Salvation Army, they only have to go to one place and they get access to 2 different fundings. 211, my office hours are only 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and by appointment only on Fridays. I'm not always in the office. There's not always somebody there. I can't always answer the phones. And that means they're not always going to get somebody. We don't work on holidays. We don't work evenings. But if they call 211, they're always going to get somebody to answer that phone that's going to be able to give them the resource that they need to point them in the right direction. So it's getting that ALICE population. It's getting somebody, even that's under the ALICE population, in the right direction and putting them where they need to be. So I'll pass it back over to Amber now.
Also, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to point out, I love what Nikki just said, and just streamlining it for the individual who needs help is so important. So we don't want them to have more places to go and more people to call. So getting them directly to the service, to Nikki's point, is really great. What we want to do is make sure that that yellow part of the pie chart, that nobody goes into poverty. We want to keep them out of the poverty and really, in fact, get them into the blue area so that they're sustainable. So that's our goal as United Way as well. So in finishing up, we're almost done. These are just ways you can help. So if you're sitting here thinking, this is a lot, I saw some questions, which is great. Just consider a few of these things. Obviously, it is our campaign time. And as of yesterday, we just announced our other kickoff. We're actually already to 10% of this year's goal. So we're excited about that. Actually runs we raise funds all the way through June 30th of 2025. So we're just starting. So 10% sounds a little, but we're excited about it. A lot of the companies are just kicking off their campaign. Even the smallest gift can make a big impact. That's the beauty of United Way. It's the best way to help the most people. Whether you're giving $5, $500, $5,000, it all goes in one big pot of money that's helping all these programs you've seen here today. Also, if you have a part in a workplace campaign, if you have even a small business that wants to do a roundup, if you have a club, you're part of a service club or organization, just wants to have a fundraiser, a fun event to go towards some great community things, we welcome that and appreciate it. Volunteer, of course, we do send them to Ariel sometimes too, depending on your interests. But if you like asking people for money, we have a place for you. Not many people like doing that, so if you do, come see us. Another one would be sponsor one of our events. We do have some events coming up that are on our social media. We have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter that comes to your email address. So if you're interested in signing up for that, just to even be aware of what's going on, let Nikki know about that as well. Also advocacy. So, you may have come in here with questions about United Way, and hopefully we've cleared some things up. And I think, word of mouth advertising is probably, was, and will always be probably the best way to get the word out. So, if somebody's talking about United Way or about some of our partners, and you have the answer now that you've been educated and come to this amazing session at Tiffin University, you can tell them, hey, I learned about that, and maybe share this with them as well. So there's one that's not on here, but I do want to give a shout out to just about our endowments. So a lot of you are probably aware of community foundations. So in every county that we have, we work very closely with our community foundations. We're kind of the annual fundraiser, and they're really the long-term legacy gift fundraiser. I've so appreciated Jody at the Tiffin Community Foundation. We do have an endowment there. So if you have a relationship with the Tiffin Community Foundation and you just want to talk to them about the funds, we do have one, and we hope you'd ask about that as well if that's something you and your family or your group is considering. So on the next one, just our last slide here, I'm going to have Nikki switch it because I don't want to mess it up. I just want to give another shout out to Nikki. She's done an amazing job, and she's really going to be your go-to person here in Seneca. She is involved in everything. I don't know, some of you that know her, she's on every committee. I feel like she's just in the know. So even if you want to know about community events, go see Nikki. So I appreciate her. She's been doing an awesome job. She was really thrust into a lot of things with the merger going on, and Mimi was on the previous board and still helps out, and we just all felt like this was a great opportunity to allow her to use even more of her passion to help Tiffin Seneca in this role. We also have Angie Voll, who is our Chief Development Officer. She's over here in Tiffin 1 or 2 days a week, as well as myself. We actually have 7 staff altogether for 5 counties. So we're running around a lot, but we love it, and we love our communities, and we really just want to see some of these issues get better, even a little bit at a time. And so thank you if you are a supporter. Thank you for allowing us and helping us to do that. And thank you to all of you for being new advocates for us. With that, I think we're done. How do we do? We talk too much, don't we?
I actually have, real quick, we do have a handout over there as well. And into my other events, if anybody is not aware, the Heritage Festival is this weekend. There is a soft opening tonight and then a real big tomorrow. So just so you guys know.
Yes, absolutely. I want to acknowledge Amber. She is such a powerhouse. I was really, really fortunate to be a member of the United Way board when Amber came and started the process of the merger, and it just gave us so much confidence in how the funding and how the spirit of all of our community is going to stay in this community. Amber also helped, I don't know, some of you may know that I'm this year's president of the Rotary Club, and
I was going to ask you how that was going.
It's going pretty well. No, actually, thank you. But Amber came around and helped us with our strategic plan, which hadn't been done for several years. And she's just such a generous, giving person and very knowledgeable. And I also want to say about Nikki, she's young, and this is probably one of your first public speaking engagements.
This big, yeah.
Yeah, this big, yeah, thought. I just want to encourage you, Nikki. You really know your stuff. I know that you do, and we are so happy to have you. We've got about 2 minutes. Does anybody have any questions for the United Way? All right. We will repeat the question. Well, okay, you can go over here. All right.
Does United Way help with homelessness in Seneca County? Where I worked, I would get phone calls thinking that we could assist. And I didn't know where to direct them except to call United Way. And I don't know if you have access or places to send them.
Thank you, Barb.
So unfortunately, we are not able to assist with homelessness in Seneca County. There is only one true homeless shelter in Seneca County, and it is TLC, and it is for women and children only. We are not able to put anyone in a hotel for a few nights stay. We haven't been able to work with a hotel for actually it's just over 2 years now. And then the other shelters that are around that will accept males are out of county. We can tell them, hey, you can go over there. Generally, if they call, they say we don't accept out of county. But once they're in Hancock County or once they're in Sandusky County, we haven't really gotten a lot of feedback. Most of them we know that they'll take in. Hancock County is the hardest one. Yeah, most of them have been full, and it's been a while since we've known that one of them has any openings. Usually when there is an opening, it's already full because there's a wait list.
So that's definitely a need.
Yes.
And there are people who are really working hard to meet that need. Any other questions? We have time for probably one more. Oh, I'm not going to run. I just got my brace off.
Yes, I'm just curious. With the EMA, Emergency Management Agency, do you folks still work with them very closely, especially in a major disaster, tornadoes, people lose their homes, their furnishings, they don't have a place to go, and they need help with different,
When it's, EMA we do. I'm actually going to pass this one over to Amber real quick.
Well, I would answer that in two ways. We have, and Nikki actually runs this, but the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, it's actually a federal pot of money, but every one of our counties gets a piece of that. So we have a lot of partners at the table that get kind of an annual amount of money to help with any type of emergency situations. As far as the EMA, we try to work really closely with every one of our emergency management departments. And what we have done is, and this is another reason we collect data. So the Red Cross in our area, in the past 2 years, Rod Cook, the director, would quote this much better than I, but it is a fact, based on the data, that there have been more natural disasters just in our small area, to your point, than there ever has been. I mean, they're tracking things constantly, and the need is great. And so we worked with Red Cross too. This year, we're actually launching we're not calling it, I forget exactly what we're calling it, emergency. It's an emergency fund, so if you're donating to United Way, you can designate to things. So if that's something you're passionate about, we do have a new emergency fund that if there would be a flood or if there would be a tornado in this for any of our counties, that money would then go to wherever was affected. So we're recognizing the problem. It's just all happened really quickly, and so we're trying to address it. There was another thing I was thinking of too, and now I can't remember. I'm kind of passionate about this one. So I want to see us do a little